Hey Gwenters, welcome back for another episode of Gone Gwenting. Today we are going to cover a monsters deck because if you were like me and you picked monsters and you want to know how to get that Auberon for this weekly achievement for the Master Mirror thing, then this is how you're going to do it. So, just as a quick, very snappy walk through this deck, basically we're going to be using a lot of these new cards. Auberon King as Premier, you need him in order to get those weekly achievements. Art Gaith works well, and then I have played several decks and played against several decks. I think Auberon Garen is the best play. A couple of reasons for that. It just plays for a lot of points, and you need dominance in order for this deck to work for you. The other thing, Goliath can give you a little bit of durability here, but Winter Queen, you want to get her Devotion tag because of that Thrive, and you also want to be able to proc that Thrive as many times as you can. This Naglfar Taskmaster, you can basically go two ways here. You can have two of these Taskmasters or two of the Bruisers. I have opted for two of the Taskmasters just because they're really necessary in the event that you go up against Nilfgaard and they are proccing those spying. They put the spies on your side. That can be, I think, one of the worst decks for this monsters deck. Hyperion Phantom, Beast, and Caranthir are your good middle cards that are going to get you a lot of points. Parasite is a really necessary removal tool. I think other removals might be helpful in here. You can add in Striga if you want. You could also put in just like just some of the other damage cards, including, here, I'll just pull it up for you so you guys can see. You do have to stick with monsters. So you could go for Arc Spore, which I don't love. But you could, I think the one I would recommend instead, Drowners or Wyverns, Rot Fiends, and this Natural Selection. Those would probably be the cards I would suggest. But otherwise, I like this deck. It's been a lot of fun. Miss out on an extra Red Riders, so you could, in theory, and downgrade these Wild Hunt Riders. I just really like them, especially if you're on blue coin. It's helpful to just thin your deck a bit and get 6 points out on the board. The fact that they're only at 3 though, and you do need dominance, can be a bit restrictive. So do with that what you will. You can theoretically though actually play Auberon, any of these iterations of him, and pull out a Wild Hunt Rider and play it and then get the other two as well. So that actually can be just like a good tempo play if you really want that in an early round. But it's not enough points, and Auberon, in my opinion, really, of all the leaders, is the one that really does need to be played in the final round because of that Wild Hunt synergy. Because he plays a Wild Hunt card, you really are restricted to this realm of Wild Hunt. Wait, before we get into this game, see if we can get out real quick. Just as a reminder, these quests are play a match, so you just have to play a match as monsters. You need to play 15 Wild Hunt cards, you need to damage with Frost 20 times, and then play Auberon 10 times. So the one that takes the longest is Auberon because you do have to play 10 matches, but it's not too hard. They're pretty fun. This is a good revision to monsters. I like the mechanic of Wild Hunt. Do I think that this is the best faction? No. Do I think that this was the best rework? No, I do not. Who would I rather have? I think Skellige's better. We're not to their week yet, so I'll be covering each week. I'll just do a new deck. We'll talk about how you can work that deck for this current, the current madness. And if you haven't seen the schedule rotates every week. They'll be deleting one and then adding one sequentially. So if you haven't seen that, pull that up and use that. It can be really helpful. So it looks like we're up against a Gwent partner. Not sure what that means, but so these Naglfar crew are pretty good to just proc the Frost. We do have blue coins, so we definitely want to have this Wild Hunt Rider. Garen is a good play just to keep dominance. Like to have Auberon in hand. Because we are up against a bleed, that is something I would like to have, but I'd like to exchange just a couple of these cards to get a little bit more flexibility. And El Conqueror is also pretty good here too. Since we already have Red Riders, I would like to keep a Naglfar crew just because they can keep proccing that damage. And I have left in tactical advantage on purpose. It just helps us to get and maintain advantage. Dominance, sorry. dominant. Here's the thing I would say about this deck. Its biggest weakness is its greatest strength, and that it needs and plays big cards. If you don't have big cards, you are going to struggle. Pure and simple as that. So I do also have Andrega Larva in here, and I really wish I would have gotten Argaith or Naglfar, to be honest, too. The last few times I've played this haven't been as good, but you do want to do as much thinning as possible, in my opinion, especially if you have enough plays to get that Wild Hunt Queen boosted. And we can use this, we can use our, here we go, Bruiser to move one of their units back and do damage that way. But I think we'll go Naglfar Crew here, spawn the Frost, and then actually just boost him up so he doesn't get damaged, or so that there can't be removal. Even Parasite won't remove him at this point. And there's a couple of different plays you can make. I like Karaspace. You can use Caranthir on Beast, or you can use him on Aridin, and the Frost will do more damage if it is Aridin, which I actually kind of like here as a play. When you're up against a monster deck, I don't know what he's working yet. If he has Row Punish, we could be in trouble. So I think we'll back this off. This hasn't shown anything except for Andrega Larva. But we do, if at all possible, want to get out that Winter Queen. If not this round, next round. And don't worry about the Frost not being there at the end of the round. Remember, the damage happens at the beginning of the round. Alright, here's Matahuri. We know a couple of things now. Number one, he is not playing Devotion, which means he does not have any of these NL Conquerors. At least if he does, he's not going to be able to play them because these guys destroy themselves. So this is the reason I'd say the Monsters is the most reliant of all the new decks on Devotion. Like, all of their cool plays require Devotion. Alright, I think we'll go for Frost on both rows. Just so we can get the Queen out. Having played Caranthir with Aridin, I think this is a round we really do need to take. After he plays something, I think we'll move back one of these Andrega Larva just so it dies. If he's intending to play something that row locks, it'll be interesting to see what that is. It's base power. Queen, maybe? Yeah, that's a good play. It does make it easier for me to do whatever it is that I want, though. So I do want to kill this Andrega Larva. I just don't want it to keep getting that passive boost. Also notice this these level boss ones. I'm gonna scroll down here. Don't tell CDPR. This is a glitch that I don't want fixed. This is for Devotion triggers. It says reach third stage with evolving cards from Master Marine expansion 30 times. That's not what it is. It happens. It takes off every time you get a Devotion trigger. All right, so Garkians are gonna get boosted every time there's a bleeding enemy. So we're just gonna play this Purify, and it procs their Drive as well. And these NL Conquerors play pretty well as Thrive procs for Winter Queen. They also just play really well for points. They can't be reset. I think they're the best 4 provision card that was set out, which is why you rely so much on Devotion. And Winter Queen still will come out of your deck, she just doesn't get Thrive. Alright, so he purified and killed smacked Aridin. Not a big deal for me, to be honest, because he was not doing anything for us passively. Anyway, he did remove an Andrega Larva and that Matahuri totally, so I'm happy with that. So it looks like he did that Wispest tribute for the organic, which is fine with me. So one thing, we have not established our graveyard yet. We do need a Garen in our graveyard. Now, you can basically do that in 2 ways. 1, you can consume it yourself. 2, you can have him kill it for us. Or 3, you can just go ahead and play it in an earlier round. So I think probably anticipating he's going to go for the kill is too risky, just because he'll know what it is. And if he does go for the kill, I'd be more worried about him playing his Ozreal to consume my Garen. I would like this Auberon Invader. I would like this Ardgaith. I would like both of them more than this NL Conqueror. And more than Goliath. Okay, cool, perfect. I think we'll go for Garen and Ardgaith here. And then Naglfar also plays well. I would be okay playing Parasite or Goliath this turn, just because the other one goes on top. I will say Naglfar plays really well with Gaels, because you can you'll consume a card and then discard and then draw a card, right? So he doesn't say consume, he says like discard and gain its power, but the principle is the same. So I like a Garen with Beast as just like a good pacing play. You can also just do it with Ozreal, which just gives a good target for Beast, right? All right, so he has 7 cards in hand, so I would need an extra point after Parasite. But we actually can play Ardgaith. So I think I would like to know what I'm going to get next. So, and whatever one you don't use, the other one is going to go on top, right? So here, I do want to use Parasite. And then Goliath will go on top of my deck, so I'll have Goliath for next turn. And then we do want to play Ardgaith, just because that way we will get it next turn. The question is basically like, what do we want to play next? I think we actually will go for Beast here, and then play Ardgaith, just to see if he goes for something else. It also forces him to decide if he wants to try to use some other type of removal. But while we have that Garen out there, we might as well get some points off of it. And then a Parian Phantom just gives us a good target for next turn. Or we can clean off his Necrot now. That said, we'll take 1 damage and then boost by 2, so not the worst thing in the world. And then we will have more points after 2 turns with this Ardgaith anyway, because he will lose Necrot and Garen right now. And Beast will sit pretty at 6 points, unless he plays something bigger. He may go to try to protect this Necrot. Ooh, with his Ozreal. Interesting. So we still get... Huh. I think we drain him a little bit more. That way we don't take damage. Don't bother putting a shield on a Parian Phantom, it doesn't do you any good. Alright, cool. We are going to lose 1, gain 1. We will still maintain the lead, and he is going to lose 2 points. So I am fine. Passing, he'll have to make another play, and we will get last say. We get Ardgaith back. We're going to get Goliath. Now we just have to rummage around for Auberon, but I am satisfied with this outcome. And Parian Phantom's still going to gain us 1 point. So he's got to make at least a 4-point play here, which shouldn't be too hard, but he does have to make a 4-point play. Mirrors are always, I think, the most nail-bitey for me, just because it's a battle of dominance. All right, perfect. That was a good bleed from my perspective. I mean, we had to play Beast, we had to play a Parian Phantom, but to get out his Ozreal, his Garen, his Defender, and the stupid Necrots, I hate those guys. That makes me happy. And then we also get Ardgaith back next turn. We have Goliath. We have Andregalarva. Now, the question is, how much do we care about Auberon? This Andregalarva will play for 2, 4, 6 points. Auberon plays for more. Yeah, I would rather have Auberon. Plus, Auberon is going to proc a boost to Aridin when Aridin plays. And it gives us some sort of flexibility. And I will note, you know, we can get Naglfar Crew, we can get Conqueror, we can get, there's a bunch of options that we have. So basically, we just want to get Ardgaith out now, and then we'll make choices on Aridin after that. It's only going to do 2 damage until we get Aridin out, but Aridin can play Frost for 2 rounds on a row. So it also makes it so we don't give him any targets right now. Yeah. Which played well for us. Now I think basically like there's no way that we can make it do 3 damage, so I think we'll just go for Goliath here anyway. We now will have dominance. We'll play Aridin, almost certainly do the Frost on the ranged row unless he does something crazy up here. Ooh, Blood Moon! I wanted to see this, so this card got reworked in a meaningful way too, right? So give random unit bleeding 2 if the target is already bleeding, damage it by 2. So we have to play like more units here to do more. Unclear to me how we got. Oh, he gave us the bleed from his blood scent first. That way we just took the damage. Very interesting. I like the interesting nature of that play. The question is, do we just like want to feed him the highest unit from their deck? And I don't know the answer to that. I'm thinking no. But I don't know that we want to just like keep giving him bleed targets, you know what I mean? So, but Osro's gonna end up as a bleed target anyway, so I think we just get this in here, extend the duration. His Goliath will die. Our highest unit is this is actually this NL Conqueror, so that actually is a pretty good play for us. I would, if possible, like to get one of his units off. I like this Blood Moon play. I mean, it's gonna do 2 damage to me. Oriana plays well here. She's gonna be taking that damage from that Frost now, so we can't kill off his Goliath. This is fun times. All right, so I could theoretically get the NL Hunter though. So we'll go for dominance just so we can wipe off one of those units with that NL Hunter. Specifically, Goliath would be fantastic if we could clean off Goliath. So it's a bit unclear. What's happening to these Ekimaras? So now he's just going for the luck, right? I think we'll just put another unit here just to prevent that from happening. And do we get Wild Hunt Warrior? We do. We still have dominance. We kill the Goliath. We take our highest unit, which is an Elder. So that worked out pretty well for us. Anyway, pretty fun. Blood Moon was fun to see somebody use that in action. That was pretty cool. Oh, Suchi. Cool. Pretty cool to watch that in play, but I think some practice needed there. And probably more vampires, I guess. You gotta have more bleed being passed around, and Oriana's not as great of a play. I think this is kind of the problem with a lot of these devotion and special decks is you need more cards to have more synergy, but they're just not quite the depth there. I will say, though, that Wild Hunt as a specific internal faction is finally equal to probably elves, not dryads, because dryads are now like in a realm of their own. I actually just, this one final part of this, I've been testing this precision strike deck just to see like how many of these dryads I could get. I mean, look at this. This deck is like entirely dryads. I put a Sheldon Skaggs and a Glaeus in here for boost, but I'll be testing that out. I'll let you guys know if it works. But it would be a way to use Ethne if that's the one you're working on for this week. But until then, enjoy this Monsters deck. Enjoy All Out Charge 2. Be sad about War Elephant with me if you will. But no matter what you do, make sure to get out there and keep on glinting.